Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Indie Zone. My name is Kathy. This week is an incredibly important week in the matter styled as Idaho versus Kohberger because of the numerous motions in limine filed by both sides that are pending hearing. The hearings, the oral arguments, that's when the attorneys will get up and appear before Judge Stephen J. Hippler and have a final opportunity to persuade the court to either grant their motions, motion is an application for a court order, or to deny the other side's motions in their responses in opposition. We are anticipating His Honor Judge Hippler will be putting out an order today or tomorrow, which is the 7th of April or the 8th of April if it's tomorrow, pending the hearings on the 9th and 10th. That's when the oral arguments on the in limine motions will be held, April 9th and continuing on into the 10th. These motions in limine, which are seeking in limine, that means pre-trial, whether certain evidence should come before that jury that will be deliberating as the trier of fact in this case this summer, or should be kept out of the trial. The jury will be ultimately, as the triers of fact, Judge Hippler resolves all matters of law like these in limine matters, but it's not up to him to make that final determination of whether there's guilt or not guilt regarding what is it? What is Mr. Kohberger standing trial on? What is Mr. Kohberger standing trial for? How will the jury be instructed when Judge Hippler, at the end of the presentation of the state of Idaho's case in chief, also known as the guilt phase, that you see addressed in the court's October 9th, 2024 pretrial and trial order, once that guilt phase is done, Judge Hippler will turn to the jury and start instructing them on 5 counts. That is what Mr. Kohberger is facing. He is defending against 5 criminal counts, all felonies. They were first raised back on December 29th, 2022. In the criminal complaint that was signed by William W. Thompson Jr., Latah County prosecuting attorney. And it charged Mr. Kohberger with 5 first-degree felonies. Count 1 is burglary. And then the 4 counts of unalivings as it relates to the 4 students, Madison, Kaylee, Xana, and Ethan. That was filed on the 29th of December. Mr. Kohberger was not yet arrested on the 29th of December. And you can read it if you go to the Ada County Court's website. There is a link there that will lead you to the Idaho cases of interest, or you can go to the Idaho cases of interest directly. I always encourage you to read the filings and come to your own conclusions. Next, once Mr. Kohberger was arrested, which occurred December 30th, 2022, in Monroe County, Pennsylvania, that's where he was at the time. He then had to make appearances in Pennsylvania, and there are documents that are publicly available for you to read that address what happened in Pennsylvania. One of the things that he did is that he did not fight extradition. That means, would he challenge being returned to Idaho to face the charges that he was facing? He didn't do anything in Pennsylvania that he was charged on when he appeared in court after his arrest on December 30th. It all had to do with the pending charges back in Idaho. He did not fight extradition and he was returned to Idaho approximately 1 week later, and then appeared in court in Latah County. The initial presiding jurist was Judge Megan E. Marshall, who signed the warrant for his arrest, no bail. There was a preliminary hearing that was scheduled to occur in late June before Judge Marshall. But before that preliminary hearing occurred, is that there was a grand jury, a state proceeding that occurred in May. And the grand jury in Latah County returned what's called an indictment. They found that there was probable cause to bind Mr. Kohberger over, to continue keeping him incarcerated. Remember, no bond is what Judge Marshall ordered. The indictment is available for you to read in its entirety. It was filed May 16th, 2023. And you're basically going to see the exact charges here in the same order that appear in the criminal complaint filed by Mr. Thompson on December 29th, 2022. This indictment reads in pertinent part, Brian C. Kohberger is accused by the grand jury of Latah County by this indictment of the crimes of, and there you see the 5 crimes listed here. And some have wondered, why is burglary, first degree felony, very serious crime, no doubt. Why is that listed first? Well, in putting some reason and logic to this, it's never been told why it's listed first, but one would imagine that if someone broke into a house with the intention of committing the crimes that follow thereafter, that the crimes that follow thereafter, counts 2, 3, 4, and 5, would not have been able to occur without the break-in. So that's possibly why the burglary was listed first. And we always have to continue to say that under the eyes of the law, that Mr. Kohberger is considered innocent of all of these charges until or unless the future jury finds that he is guilty. The future jury could well return a verdict of not guilty. If that happens, everything ends in state court. Double jeopardy attaches. He can't be charged again for these same crimes. Everyone, for want of a better word, goes home. There will not be a second phase of the proceeding. However, if the jury returns verdicts of guilty, then there will be a second phase of the proceeding. That's called the penalty phase. So, in circling back to what's going to be happening on the 9th and 10th, we can see here, I believe, how important it is. These rulings could in some ways make or break this case in favor of one side or the other, because it is all about, or at least the majority of the in limine motions are about, what evidence will be permitted to be coming before this jury. They will be instructed that they are only to consider the evidence that's presented in court and nothing else. So we look forward to Judge Hippler's order that will then provide further instructions of which of the in limine motions are public, which may be closed to the public and sealed from the public, where the public can watch if the courtroom is going to be opened or not. Remember, even though the hearings back in January were largely open hearings, the courtroom was closed. And so the only way for the public and the media to watch was over the Ada County official YouTube channel. So we're looking for those instructions. And once they do hit the docket, we will, of course, let you know. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them here. Until next time, my name's Kathy. Thank you, as always, for joining us here today.